Hey Christian Post, it's Jeannie here, and today we are joined by one of my favorite gospel singers, an award-winning. He's in academia. He is just really one of a kind. Jonathan McReynolds, thank you so much for chatting with us. You will be back on Sunday's Best for BET. That's
Yeah,
what we're talking about. But you always have so many amazing things happening. I talked to you recently about people and the whole project,
yeah.
and now here we are again. So welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor to see you again.
And we're in quarantine still. The last time I talked to you, we had just entered quarantine, I think.
Really? Yeah.
Are
But,
you
but
are you still in quarantine?
I mean, I just posted yesterday that I feel like my life is always in phase one or two. I'm not feeling too much different. I do miss all the touring, and that's probably going to be the last thing that comes back, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But as far as just me and my personal life, daily life, I live in phase one and two. So, as long as I can pull up and do some curbside pickup, I'm fine.
So you're happy. You're happy, huh? Well, yeah, I mean, one of my favorite things about you is seeing you live. So I
Mm.
really do hope we get more of that. But I
Yeah.
think this season has opened up a new thing
Mhm.
where artists in particular are, using their platforms for those, doing those little mini concerts and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see what happens. We'll
Yeah.
always find a way to adapt.
Yes. So talk to us about Sunday's Best. You're
Yeah,
back.
this is my season, my second season,
Yeah.
their 10th season. Really excited about it. We didn't know how this was gonna go. We kind of got 3 episodes in, and then we had to lock it all down. But we were able to kind of create uh, some mini TV studios in our homes, and try to work it out there. And I really think it turned out pretty well. I'm excited to see how the final project, but still the great singing and the inspirational moments and all the things that people really love about the show. I think that they stayed true.
How do you think it's been different doing a show like that in a digital way? Just in terms of the intimacy is different, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Uh, just from you and your experience, what do you think is different, and what will be, what can we, the viewers, kind of be looking forward to that will be different?
Yeah, I think especially when it comes to gospel singing, particularly like the traditional gospel way. Now, I'm not the most traditional gospel person in the world, so some of the things that I do are more intimate, and it's okay for me to be the only person in the room sometimes. But mainline traditional gospel, it needs people, it needs audience, it needs that energy and that participation in the amen corner and the everything else. So that's missing, and so that sucks for us because we know that there's a different part of the record, part of a gospel record is the crowd, and
Yeah.
so the artists and the contestants in this season had to learn how to almost generate that energy themselves, maintain that engagement, maintain that connection, and so honestly, that's what all of us artists have to do right now anyway. And so I think it makes sense. It's appropriate for people who are trying to be in the position that we're in to have to go through that ringer right now and learn how to be felt through a screen. And how to sing like nobody's watching because you really can't see anybody watching. And
Yeah.
so it was weird, but I think it turned out to be good. And I think you guys can really expect, some really inspirational moments. I think one thing that was a little lost on me last season was that this is not just a competition. This is a part of people's lives. These are humans, and even over the COVID pandemic and over all of what's going on, there's some kind of sometimes gut wrenching, moments where they were really, dealing with loss and dealing with grief and dealing with, just a whole bunch of other things that were revealed and exacerbated because of the situation we're in. And I think people are going to really see the humanity in these people. And I think that's always a good thing.
Yeah, that's for sure. We're getting to see people in their living rooms. I don't know if they did it like that for Sunday's Best, but I know for a lot of these other singing shows, you get to see them in their living room or their hotel room or their patios.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
does kind of give us an insight into that intimate, place that we wouldn't necessarily see. So I do like that. But I'm gonna say he was about to have me crying. I am part of William McDowell's church in Orlando now,
Oh, nice.
and I miss it so much. Like that, what you're describing, just being together. It's like, oh
Yeah.
man. But I do want to ask you about this because I feel like there's kind of a spiritual lesson in all that, what you just shared, the fact that we are forced to play or sing to an audience of one, and as people, we can be so, as much as we don't want to as Christians, we can be so hungry for the praise of people or the vibe of people to help us. I'll talk a little bit about that and just kind of that developing that intimacy in worship and praise and singing and gospel, apart from the vibe and the energy of everyone else.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things in our American church that we have overemphasized and possibly made a little more than what the Bible even said that it was supposed to be. And just as you were talking, the first thing that popped up in my mind is the difference between a worship leader and a worshiper. And I think some of us have gotten very skilled at leading, but what about if there's nobody to lead out there? What about just the worship part? What about the part that is not about bringing people along? It's not about endearing yourself with people. It's not about them appreciating what you're doing. What part of the worship leading was just worshiping? The part that the thing that you were actually created for, the thing that happens between you and God, regardless of what other people feel about it. And so, yeah, I think in a lot of different ways, the church is being shaken up. Are you still a word carrier and a researcher when you're not preaching in front of people? Do you still have the same enthusiasm when you don't know if they approve or not? Are you a worshiper or just a worship leader? You make other people worship. What are you? And so I just think it's an amazing time that we have to check ourselves for real. There's nothing to distract us, nothing to clap and pat us on the back. We have to really see like what the foundation of our hearts and the things that we do, where they lie.
Love it. So good. That'll preach right there. I wanted to ask you about just kind of, seeing all these new singers. I mean, they've been singers forever, but here they are, they're competing, and hopefully so that they can be successful in the genre and the career that you've been successful in. I love you so much because I feel like as an artist, you're able to communicate things through music in a way that is so authentic and genuine. And like you mentioned, in the American church, that can sometimes be more fluff than that true genuineness. As somebody who's been there, who's done that, how are you kind of, or do you, I don't know if you do you share some stuff with the contestants about what to expect when they're coming into, because let's face it, it's still an industry.
Yeah, I think first of all, I'm not alone on that show. I got some
I know.
legends with me. I got some legends, and sometimes they're even better at sharing it because they've been from the valley to the mountaintop. I'm somewhere in the middle, and so you got Kirk Franklin, you have Erica Campbell, Kelly Price that understand the tension. I think what Kirk Franklin always says is, live in that tension. He says, as long as you're living in that tension, you're probably okay. When it gets too easy on one side, when you just seem to be extreme on one side or the other, that's when you probably need to worry. When it's all industry, you probably need to worry. When you don't care about what people think at all, you might need to worry just a little bit because all even though we understand that God has the ultimate approval and all the other stuff like that, we still have to be cognizant and considerate of the vocation, the job, the part of it, that other people are relying on. We have people who their livelihood are based on what we do and what we say, and if we sometimes endanger them by going off on Twitter or something like that, that's not fair either. And so I've always just tried to try to live in that tension because, believe it or not, this part of my life, the career, the part that you guys see, that's also a part of me just working out my own salvation in fear and trembling. This just happens to be my course. Some people are married, some people are not. Some people have a public ministry, some people have a private. All of it is a part of your journey in becoming who God wants you to be. Now, this is an interesting way. This is an interesting route that God wanted me to take me on. But at the end of the day, the goal for everybody is to look more like Christ and to be, told, well done when it's all over, regardless of what you do, regardless of how many people knew about it, regardless of how many people celebrated it. Did you steward what I gave you to the best of your abilities in a way that glorified me? And so I just want everybody to understand that. That's the thing that I understood while I was sitting there. Man, this is a part of their lives. I don't know what Sunday best is going to mean in their lives, but it is not the end all be all. It is not the destination. They're not trying to work up God is not trying to just get them to our levels or anything like that. He's trying to teach them something about himself. And so I've just been a lot more cognizant of that, even sitting where I sit.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what makes it so great, because you're honest, and you're also like, and most of you are, that I feel like those that God gives that platform, He can trust, and I see that with you, and I'm so grateful that the contestants have somebody like you to pour into them and give them some guidance. I do want to talk a little bit about people. It's legit, like I am singing it like all day, every day, which says a lot. But because of the times that we're in, a lot of us are forced to deal with people that we try to avoid when we're distracted and not on lockdown. I think America is forced to deal with the ugliness of people as we're getting to see, things surface, and everyone is forced to stand still and see it. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, just the fact that God would have you release the song. I saw you perform it beautifully on BET at the BET Awards on Sunday. Talk about that and just the timing of that song. I think I joked with you when we first talked about it. I was like, Jonathan, did you do all this? God quarantined us because Jonathan McReynolds wrote a song about being delivered.
Don't blame me for it. Don't blame me for it. Yeah,
no, it's escalated way beyond that since the last time we talked.
Yes. This is all above me. This is all past anything I was thinking. But at the end of the day, I always tell people like this. I take these vitamins. They're called Airborne. And you're supposed to take 3 gummies a day, and they're the actual title, the name of the pill is Airborne. That's referring to all the germs on the outside of you. But if you look at what it actually does, it doesn't do anything to the germs outside of you. It does everything to what's inside of you so that you can better deal with the germs. So while people is referring to the folks outside of you, ultimately a true deliverance or a true help or boost would actually have to happen inside of you, so you're better to deal with those people. I don't need to get away from them. Well, some people maybe we can get away from, but ultimately it was not about them. It was about the place that I was putting them in my mind. It's me that needed the immune support. It's me that needed the vitamins. It's me that needed to figure out how to deal with these crazy folks, their opinions, their words, their actions. It was me dealing with the log in my own eye so I can maybe help them one day with the speck in theirs. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the day, like I really want people to understand that this is possibly an opportunity that we get to be apart from people, but the purpose might be so that we can get ourselves together and strengthen ourselves the same way we're taking all the zinc and everything else necessary so that those airborne germs don't get us. There's some identity scriptures that we need to read. There's some things that we need to do within ourselves that allow us to be better dealers with those people. And I think culturally, nationally, people are having to deal with themselves. It's not even just other people, it's themselves. And I think we're starting to see, where some of the isms come from and how they've been maintained. And it's normally not because of just hatred for other people, but it's a self-preserving mechanism that happens within themselves, ourselves. So forgive me when I'm one of those people too.
Oh, well, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing about that. I know it's just crazy. It is hard to even, think of what we should be doing as a people right now. Is there anything that you'd like to share for anyone watching that is like, I don't know what to do? I'm angry. I'm affected by what's happening in the world, and I don't feel so Christ-like.
Mm. Yeah, that's tough. I don't feel so Christ-like. Um, I would say, I would say, pray a lot. I would say make sure that you take everything. I think sometimes we have a righteous indignation. We have a righteous anger. We see stuff wrong, we don't like it, uh, but we compound it and we give the devil some yucks and we make him laugh and whatever when we respond in an ungodly way with that righteous anger. And so, while I want things to happen and I want things to change, I stand for and stand with all the protesting, all the unrest that keeps things on people's minds and doesn't let them forget what we are trying to do or that we are trying to do something. It is very necessary. That, I have a second place in LA, so I spend a lot of time out in LA lately. Those are some passionate actors and entertainers and artists, and so they're not the ones that are going to sit there in the boardrooms and try to create some laws and some new policies, but their lane is to be out in the streets and to show that passion and to make sure nobody forgets that we are still aiming for something. And so everybody has a part to play. Just play your position, pray your position, and make sure that you do what you're supposed to do. You handle your world. You show love in your world. You educate when God gives you opportunity to educate. Do it out of a love for your people and a love for the person that you're talking to. And just see what God does over the course of this. There are some policies being made. There's some things happening. I'm privy to some of them, what's going on kind of underneath all of it, but everything plays a part. Everything plays a part. And so remember Romans 8:28, all things work together for those that love God and are called according to his purpose. It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. Now I don't know how it's gonna work out, when it's gonna work out. Will Jesus come back before it fully works out? Either way, play your position, because we'll never. Sometimes we're going to be planting seeds for a tree that we're never even going to see.
I believe that it will work out. I'm so grateful that you shared that too, and even some hope that there are things being changed and policies being put in place. Thank you for that.
Stuff is happening.
Yeah, I'm grateful. That. Praise God. I don't want to keep you much longer, but I do want to say for anybody who hasn't watched Sunday's Best, it's been on for 10 seasons. You've been on for 2, but for those that haven't jumped on board, or for in their mind it's just another singing competition, what do you say?
This is the best singing that you're gonna hear. I mean, I love The Voice, American Idol, all the other ones, but there's no singing like gospel singing. Like this is a different thing. This is not just who is who can stay on beat and on tune. This is some different. This is some next level type stuff. And we have one of the things that Kirk even mentioned. He said, "You know why I think you guys are the best judges out there?" He was like, because you guys are still in the work. You guys are still doing it. You guys are still in your prime. And so the way that we're even thinking about it is understanding what's happening now in gospel, what's happening now in music, and all the trials and tribulations and challenges and opportunities that we have even now. We're looking not for somebody to pass the baton to, but somebody to be on our team, somebody to pass the ball to. And so I think it's a totally different thing, and there's a different tone, in how we talk to them and everything. So you guys gotta go watch it. BT Sunday Best every Sunday. I can't wait to see you guys.
Thank you so much. Jonathan, is there anything else you want to add? Feel free. Anything we can expect, anything you're doing, anything.
We're gonna probably have to have another interview soon. There's some things
Ah,
happening, but I won't divulge anything right now.
okay.
There's a lot of
I'm gonna
great
hold
things
you.
coming in the
I
second half.
will hold you to that. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.